This memorial is intended to remember something that happened many years ago. A famine took place that cost the lives of 1 million people. My own experience is that the Irish famine is a very little-known disaster. I think that by and large, most of our young people are unaware of starvation. Governor Pataki, several years ago, made it mandatory that the Irish famine be included in the history books being utilized in the state of New York. It should be known. I mean, it's something that happened that shouldn't have happened and shouldn't happen again.
This is a step for us to make sure that our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren never forget. It's very hard for me to believe that it took over 150 years for the most Irish city in the world, New York City, not Dublin, to produce a monument to what happened in Ireland between 1845 and 1852.
We sought artists to give us their thoughts and ideas with respect to what it should be. Brian Toll came up with his rendering. I reacted to it immediately when I saw it. What I liked about it was that, in substance, it was a piece of Ireland being transported from Ireland to Battery Park City. All of the landscaping authentically Irish.
My son George promised that he'd take me to Ireland to see the place where my mother was born. In 1999, we went there. Then we sat on a stone wall to have a family picture taken. That stone wall was the only thing that was left of my mother's home. While we were sitting there, George said, "I'd love to take a part of Ireland to New York for a memorial of the famine." When we got back to New York, the Irish Hunger Memorial Committee was formed. When you visit the memorial, when you walk up the path at the top of the hill, you can see the Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island. My mother went through Ellis Island hoping for a better life and the American dream. My Irish mother found the American dream, and her grandson is the governor of New York.
My mother's side came over during the famine, and my father's side came over just after the Revolution. It's interesting that when you speak to the older people that came over from Ireland, there is not a lot that is said. My grandfather, my grandmother, and this goes back to the famine, there's a gap, there's something that's lost there. What hasn't been passed down from generation to generation, the reason is because of the suffering, and it's something that they would rather forget.
Wasn't that long ago, I was on the memorial and I was talking to a small group of people who had come through our offices to look at the memorial. And while I was doing that, there was a little older woman who was kneeling down, kissing the stone from her county. And as she rose and came towards me, she overheard me speaking and realized that I was someone who was associated with the memorial itself. And as she came forward, I thought she was going to say, "Thank you." But she didn't. She started chastising me for allowing all these weeds from Ireland to have overgrown this lovely landscape, and wanted to know why we weren't planting flowers and how we were making the Irish look bad. And she said it all with a lovely little brogue. And to me, that's what it's all about. When you see the emotion people have for the memorial,
My family originally came here as a result of the hunger. So from a family standpoint, I have a particular interest in it, but also from a broader interest. You know, we're all part of a larger family in many respects, the family of mankind, and we're all in this life together. And you see in the Irish Hunger Memorial the sufferings not only of the Irish people, but of so many other people throughout the world.
I have the great advantage of being involved with a group called Concern Worldwide, and had the chance just recently, about a month ago, to visit Ethiopia. I got a chance, in a sense, to see what Ireland had gone through, because they, after 4 years of drought, have suffered greatly in Ethiopia. And as I look at the folks in Ethiopia, what I realized was that they were people with the same hopes and aspirations that each of us have. They have overcome great adversity, just as the Irish did during their period of hunger. They survived 4 years of drought. You don't do that unless you're very strong. And these are very strong people that I met. And I think that's the same when you look at the Irish that survived the hunger. What you'd find are people of great pride and dignity.
For me, the Irish Hunger Memorial translates into an experience of poverty and hunger that can't be captured by data and statistics and information. Just after the memorial opened, I brought a group of our retired sisters from the convent down to see the memorial. And they were so struck by it, and their immediate instinct was to find the stone with the county that they came from. The identification with that county was so real. At the time, not all of the stones with the names of each county had the name visible. And I thought single-handedly my group of retired sisters would rearrange the stones on the memorial despite Brian's artistic placement, because it meant so much to them to identify with that place and that history. Whenever I've gone down to visit the memorial, I've been struck by the cultural and ethnic diversity of the people who are there, who weren't looking at it as a curiosity, but were reading the text, were listening to the words, and really seemed to be extraordinarily moved by the symbolic nature of the memorial.
One of our goals is to focus on world hunger. Right now, we are working to the development of the World Hunger Education Center at Battery Park City, which would be an adjunct to the Irish Hunger Memorial. And that will be a place where people who were concerned about world hunger could go and learn and give and participate at any level that they felt. It's just heartwarming to know that I have been a small part of creating something that will be here for the next 150 years, and that will not only memorialize what happened in Ireland to my great-great-grandparents, but also what's going on today in the world. And hopefully in some small way, we'll be able to educate, inform, and make a difference.